Hello, welcome to Autistic. Hmm, actually, blooper. Okay. Hello, welcome to Joyful Autistic Twins Journey. My name is Marilen, and I'm a mom to autistic twins named Joshua and James. And I figured I'd start this channel, this podcast, and wherever you might be hearing or seeing this for other moms and dads and grandparents who may have a family member with autism. And for us, our twins are currently 9 years old. And I have really been leaning on information that other people have shared about their journey. And I figured, why not share our journey too, that maybe can help others, inspire others, or just be a resource for things that uh, might be helpful or useful. So that's it. There's nothing more than that, I guess. And you're probably going to see me in the most roughest states because it's part of life when you're not trying to, I guess, think about things that are unnecessary. And sometimes we just got to get out there and share as we much as we can. My goal for all of this is to make it somewhat like a vlog and share possibly like the experiences we're facing currently, experiences that we have done. And the reason why I call it Joyful Autistic Twins Journey is that I want to find the wonderful joy in everything that is occurring in our lives. Before our twins, we are parents to three other children, and they range in age from like in her 20s. One's getting ready to be 18, and we have a middle schooler. And I won't share too much about them just to keep their privacy, but the dynamics are certainly part of like the experience too. So if anyone's curious how it works with siblings, then I'll share a bit on that end of it as well. My husband and I, we are always on the lookout for developing ourselves first so that we could be the right type of influence for all our children. And that is thankfully a huge part of our experience with successful things that have occurred in our lives, especially successful in the ways of uh, being great stewards of our children. And so if you might see me and hear of me from other things out there. I am an entrepreneur. I help other people create brands and never really thought about the content of my own life and family to be center of most of the things that have been in my plans because it's always been about everybody else. And so this is a little bit of uncharted territory in a way where I'm revealing a whole lot more of the private side of our lives. And that's just not always comfortable because I'm used to helping others bring out just on the business side. We don't really want to expose ourselves, our private lives publicly. As you can probably imagine, there's different things to consider when you do things like that. So I'm trying to walk this fine line. I'm not sure just how much I will put out there, but I do want to be transparent. So I'm going to be choosing my words carefully, choosing my actions carefully. And I hope you're okay with that because I do want to protect my children. I do want to protect our family and just overall be um, to, how do we say it? Like, I want to be helpful without making it all about us, even though this channel will be about us. So we'll figure it all out as we go. My deal with you, if you're watching and you're following and you're going to be a regular for us regarding audience or connectivity, then we just want to make sure that we're on the same page as far as keeping things positive, keeping things like just safe for everybody involved. So if you have questions and you have comments that you want to share, think about that in your own terms, what that could mean for you. And we certainly wouldn't push anything on anybody if they're not willing to participate. So this channel is just for those who really need the extra resource or maybe peace of mind that they're not going through things alone. Now, this day is the day after 4th of July, and I can anticipate that some families may have sensory issues when it comes to loud noises. And we have definitely um, built up a lot of tolerance for the twins in regards to how they expect or accept loud noises and other things that could jolt them. We have wonderful neighbors that are always very enthusiastic on the 4th of July. And that is pretty much like a yearly thing where you're going to hear at our location in the backyard and through the house that fireworks are going to go off. And I know certain children are more sensitive to sound. And what I find fascinating is that my twins are identical boys, identical diagnosis, pretty much 4 minutes apart when they were born. And they have differences and they have similarities. And regarding sound, I do find that one of the twins, he will cover his ears more often than the other twin, and something that might jolt this twin might not jolt the other twin. So it's always fascinating. And it's not always at the same time in the same way, meaning it could be the same noise repeated. The other one's unbothered, the other one is bothered. And then the next moment, the opposite person is bothered and the other one is not. So I just find it fascinating. I know that certain people have noise canceling headphones when they go out different places. We've tried that. They just don't like things on their heads for too long. And so what we have found that works for us is that they self-regulate sound by covering their ears with their hands. I never thought about you know, how do we say? I don't want to enforce like, hey, maybe you could wear these if they don't want it on their head. So putting their hands on their ears have been fine because then I noticed that one twin will, um, Joshua in particular, will like open up his ear canal with a finger to hear what's going on. And I'm like, oh, he's controlling the volume or he's controlling the input. So he has more control with his hands versus like trying to take something on and off that might be like either too tight or constricting on the head. So I think for them it's a feel type of thing. And so him kind of regulating the volume has been pretty cool to watch. And he's totally happy. Like if he's miserable, he will let us know in his own way. So the twins are nonverbal. And I kind of don't like saying nonverbal because they are working towards being verbal, and we are seeing great progress in how that's occurring. It is great progress because when they were first diagnosed at around like 3, 4 years old, I wasn't sure if we're ever going to really hear them say words to us that one was appropriate because they can articulate well. And I was explaining this to somebody yesterday is that they don't have any trouble utilizing the muscles or ways to form words. They can speak. However, when you talk about a nonverbal person, it is mainly that they don't speak in a communicative way where you would have a conversation. So the speaking might be from scripting. And at first I was like, what does scripting mean? Well, scripting means that they're going to collect the information and be able to create a speech out of it. So things that they memorize that gets kind of in their head and they can say it at different times. It may not be an appropriate time. Um, James likes to say, it's freezing on the mountain. He'll say it at different times, and you can hear that that's what he's saying, but doesn't fit the situation or you don't know why he's saying that, sometimes it's appropriate. Like if it's cold and he says it's freezing on the mountain, we go, oh, he's cold. But let's say it's summertime and he's just playing with toys and he goes, I'm freezing on the mountain. I don't know if that's because he's playing or if he just thought of it at that moment and decides to say it. And that's really what nonverbal means to us. I know that there are some children out there that may be completely nonverbal, that they don't actually utter any words at all. For our twins, they script. Do a lot of scripting and singing. They love to sing. And sometimes we have really cool conversations because we'll just sing back and forth to one another, and it could be appropriate songs. And one of the uh, programs that I definitely credit for having a lot of contextual songs is Yo Gabba Gabba. I am very thankful to those who created Yo Gabba Gabba and just the different situations that they talk about in that show because we can reference those songs when they're going through something. And that has been our biggest game changer. Because let's say they're frustrated about something, we might sing a song that refers to that from Yo Gabba Gabba, like, keep trying, don't give up, never give up." So they remember that song and they remember the context, and then it kind of, helps them in that situation. Or, "You gotta wait your turn, you gotta wait your turn." So we'll go to a playground and maybe they wanna go do the slide and I'll say, "Wait your turn." And they remember from that song what that may mean because of the context of the music and the context of what was visually being shown in that program. So that could be a good resource for you if your kids are like ours, where they really connect with programs like that and definitely can understand musically what's happening. I think for us, the music has definitely been a big part of how we all communicate. I sing to them at night. Especially James loves to hear "Baby Mine," and it's from, Dumbo, and that song I sing. I don't know if I'm singing all the right words, but whatever words that we've come up with, that's what I sing to him every night, and one of the words, it says, like, "Rest your head close to my heart." So when he gets stressed out and he's, like, about to, like, lose it and he's about to have a tantrum, I'll recognize that and I'll say, "Come here, rest your head close to my heart." And then he'll come over and, like, lean on me, and I get to cuddle on him, and then that helps diffuse him, and that has been awesome because before he would just throw a tantrum, he'll get on the ground, and I thought I wasn't gonna be able to, stop that behavior because then it felt like it was getting worse. He would get on the ground, he would kick the ground, and then he'd wanna bump his head on the ground, and so my first solution was, like, throw a pillow under his head and, then my other solution was, like, "If you're upset, if you're mad, um, go on the couch." And there's a Daniel Tiger episode where Daniel gets mad and it says, "Take a deep breath and count to 4." That used to work, but then it didn't work after a minute, so I was like, "I need something else," and when I recognized that he was falling into the same pattern as I sang "Baby Mine," then I tried that, and that has become, like, a really great comforting thing. Um, I'm not sure if it works with everybody else, so that's the next step would be if the other family members or my husband would also adopt that if he gets stressed out to say, "Rest your head close to my heart," then maybe he'll come over and do that. And I've gotten him to the point where if he gets upset, one of the things I would do is pick him up right away and tell him, like, "Get upset on the couch, get upset on the bed," because those are soft places. So then if he wants to kick or thrash around or, move his head different ways, and I know he's not hitting the floor, the hard floor. And that has been a big win to just say, "If you're upset, go over here." And little by little, he will kind of put himself there. So if he's upset, he might run to the nearest like couch or nearest bed. And at least I'm relieved by that. So we're getting there. Joshua, where we're getting to with him, like he tends to scream a lot. So you may have a twin that likes to scream, or not twin. You might have a child with autism that is just like verbalizing that way. And It used to be constant, like, it was just like a constant, "Ah," and it would be very high pitched and loud, um, and and again, I was things evolve, things change, you have to stay with it, right? Like, if you don't know what's gonna be the best solution, but you gotta stick with at least trying to change the situation, and I know at times you feel like giving up because in a way, sometimes we're just like, we just let him scream. He's gonna scream, there's no stopping him. He's just gonna scream. He's screaming less and less and less, and what, I've seen of that progress is that one, I think there was something going on at the school he was at. We are now homeschooling them, and then this when at the time when they were going to school, I think they were picking up different habits from other special needs children, and one of them, my husband had discovered when he went on a field trip was a little person that would scream all the time. And that was that person's form of communication, and so our twin adopted that and took it home and began the whole screaming thing, and now that we're not in that environment anymore and he's not seeing that on a consistent basis, on a daily basis, he's definitely not screaming as much. So that might be a thing too. You might observe that they might pick up different things if you are sending them to school or other environments where there are other things that they might pick up, just like any normal kid, right? They'll pick up different habits. That's definitely been the case for ours. So with his screaming, things that have worked because we have a dog, and so I started equating, like, barking with the screaming because he also wouldn't like it if the dog just started barking consistently. He'll feel that it's loud, and I'll say to the dog, and the dog's name is Captain, I'll say, Captain, stop that screaming." So instead of Captain, stop that barking, I made sure to around Joshua to let him know that that's pretty much what you're doing. Like, it's loud and it hurts when it just comes out of nowhere and you're just screaming. Look what the dog does. When he barks, when he screams, it's loud. And so now one of the things that he likes to script, he'll say, "Captain, stop that screaming." So he'll pick up, they both will pick up things that we've said now, which is fascinating because before they would pick up things from school, but maybe was not verbal things. But now, since they're home with us more and they are picking up what we're saying, they'll say things like, "Sweetheart," or "Captain, stop that screaming." Because we repeat that a lot. So I call my husband sweetheart. So if I'm yelling around the house with sweetheart, like Joshua likes to say, "Sweetheart." I might get some of that on video. Oh, by the way, if you're looking for actual videos, what I'm doing is creating different shorts that is just easy for us to film. I can't film every piece of our lives because we're very hands-on with the twins. I'm always, like, helping them up or changing their clothes, changing, underpants, etcetera. They're still working on becoming potty trained at 9 years old. We are definitely, still changing diapers, and that is just part of what we do. And, hopefully, at some point, they will get to the point where bathroom going to the bathroom is easier and that they can, definitely start working on that. And I will let you know how it goes, but we don't feel defeated at that point when it comes to this whole diaper situation, and so it's just what it is, and part of the way we think about our lives is that we're just here to love on them and accept them. We definitely are very blessed to have, our parents also being very helpful. Our parents are getting up there in age, so it's not like we can always, like, lean on them. We barely do technically, but it's like if we have appointments and we have to be at 3 places at once, and that's just not possible, then of course, like, sometimes they can go to a grandparent's house for maybe an hour, but we don't wanna, burden our parents too long. My parents are younger than my husband's parents, and so they will watch them overnight so that we can get some respite, get some, discussion, adult time, because it is constant. We're both home, I work from home. My husband is a full-time caretaker for the twins because he's there's so many appointments and so many different things like changing and feeding them. When they were going to school, yes, it was better for us because we can count on that time that they would get picked up by the bus and then get dropped off. But, at what cost, right? Like, we had our time, but then it would become more difficult when it comes to their development because they weren't getting what they needed from the public school system, at least for what we thought would be a better case scenario, and there were some incidences that just was not cool at all, and I won't go into that at the moment, but yeah, so we definitely, um there was a boundary that got crossed and we said, "You know what? We can't subject our children to this kind of stuff." And so we made that decision. And actually now when you see how much stuff that they've been able to do and win because of that change, we're very grateful. So there's always a give and take. We don't have that kind of timing anymore where it's easy to get the house clean, easy to run errands and go do appointments, etc. for yourself. But now, we just manage and we communicate as well as we can with our family, with our parents, and then, however we can manage it and just also be open to people that we're talking to. Say, look, I don't have that much time to do what you're asking, or we need to reschedule this appointment because, we can't bring all the kids to this appointment. It's all those things. So communication is huge. So that's it for now. Trying to think like if there's anything going on in the upcoming month. I know that we do want to try out like a water park in our area. This will be probably the third time. We tried it once before. It was the middle of winter and it was way too loud, but I think there's different changes in them that I've seen, and so we were willing to try it again because we also want to have fun as a whole family doing adventures, and I'll go into more of that as well because adventures are so cool, and we've definitely incorporated it into our mission for our family to expose them to new things, get them out of routines, get them used to traveling on a plane, traveling on a train, long car rides, etc. So I will definitely share as much of that as possible because I know that there's a lot of families out there who are curious about how to travel with special needs children, and what to do to keep them safe and then also keep them happy. And I know that for me, I try to visit different forums. So if you're on Reddit, there is autism parenting, I think, on Reddit. There's a thread that I like to follow just to see like what other people are thinking about looking at. I'm always trying to project like what are they going to be like as teenagers, what are they going to be like as adults, or what other things are being discussed and what are parents going through. And maybe either I can help or glean some help for myself, right? So I want to share, but I also want to be a recipient of great advice and information. So if you have something like that, I'm always willing to check it out. If you want to follow this channel, we're very grateful. And if you're an entrepreneur, if there's anything I can do on that side of things, look for me there. I'm going to look more glamorous over there because I know that that's part of what I need to kind of bring to the table is like more togetherness in regards to branding. But this is just for, again, this is for not that I don't care about this channel. I do care. It's just more about like, I don't want to have to like overthink in order to share from my heart. So this is me being as straightforward as possible. This is my reading glasses that I'm getting used to. I never wore glasses before, so you may see me with glasses, without glasses, and all this get up and whatnot. So anyhow, I hope you're doing great. We wish you the best, and we're saying prayers to all the families out there. And be sure to follow Joyful Autistic Twins Journey. Until next time, bye for now.